Welcome in to the CryptoBroz podcast. I am the CryptoBullGod.
And I am the CryptoBringer.
And this is the recorded on Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. There it is, CryptoBroz podcast. You can find me on Twitter, TradingView, YouTube, and Instagram at CryptoBullGod. And where can they find you, CryptoBringer?
I don't know. I'm somewhere on there. I'm in the Twitterverse at CryptoBringer. Every now and then, I post some very enlightening tweets.
Yeah,
watch out for them.
Yeah, give my brother a follow. He's close. He's closing in on 100 followers, so he's very close to 100. Yo, that shit's gonna be 100,000 by next year. Just mark my words. You'll have 100,000 followers by next year. All paid. All paid. All bots.
Can't wait. Yeah, I hope you enjoy my sense of humor, people.
So I've been, the past, first off, I just want to say it feels really good to be back doing this. I've said many times before, this is the podcast I enjoy doing the most, more than my own on my own YouTube channel. So it does feel really good to be back. I've been out and about traveling. There's just been a lot going on. Like I said, neither CryptoBringer nor I do this full time. This is stuff we do in our spare time. We do have full-time jobs. But yes,
we do.
Yes, we do, which we are all trying to escape as soon as possible. Anyway.
I actually like my job.
Yeah, no, I like my job too. I work with good people. Yeah. So I've been out and about. So for all those, I believe, who are familiar from my own CryptoBullGod channel, I live in South Florida. But this holiday season took me up north to eastern Pennsylvania to visit my family, as well as my brother. That includes my brother. And one of the places that, I should say the CryptoBullGoddess was with me on that trip. So she came along, she met the family. Met the family. That's always for the first time. But everything went well. And she was with me. And one of the places that we visited it was really interesting to see her reaction was we actually visited, for all those who are familiar, we took a drive to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where the Amish are located. So it was really neat because the CryptoBullGoddess, commented to me that she really appreciated just the simplicity in which the Amish people live. I mean, they have horse and buggies. All of the wood making skills. We visited a couple shops where all of the furniture. Have you been in those shops, by the way, CryptoBringer? Where the shops, like the Amish hand make all of the furniture. I mean, it's like legit, like really good, high quality furniture. None of that cheap shit that you buy in the stores.
Yeah, no, I had some of that furniture at a previous house I had.
Yeah, so we were just checking out all of that stuff and appreciating it. Because especially, even for myself, even though I grew up in eastern Pennsylvania, you move away and it's once you're away from something that you're accustomed to and you grew up in, it's only then do you really, in my opinion, truly appreciate certain aspects of it, because you don't get that in South Florida. So we enjoyed our trip to Pennsylvania. It was great. It was just great to see everyone in general. So then we left and we came. So we feel like nomads. Then we traveled back to the CryptoBullGoddess's area, which is northern Florida. Then we took a trip to Naples. So a couple quick things there, one of which is a funny story I wanted to hit on. So if you haven't been to Naples, a couple things to share about it. First off, you have to see the sunsets. Not to get all, romantic, but even if you go there by yourself, just for like the beauty of it, Naples has beautiful.
Put some little self-romance in there.
It's you could have a little
self-romance in your car, maybe. You don't want to do that at the beach.
I've had plenty of times where I've been single, and Stop. You gotta do what you gotta do, But the sunsets in Naples, Florida, are extremely beautiful. Really, you got to check that out. The other thing that was quite laughable is I've commented to my family and CryptoBringer that I'm looking to get into the real estate market, in the shorter term here at some point, and purchase a home. And so we're driving around. Myself and the CryptoBullGoddess were driving around, and we're in an area, a really nice looking area. We're like, wow, some of these homes are really beautiful. Wouldn't it be neat to live in Naples? Let's look up the price of some of these homes. So I go on Zillow to see some recent purchases and some homes in the market that are in the area we're looking for. CryptoBringer, do you want to have a guess on the price range of some of the homes we were looking at in the area we're at? Just take a stab in the dark here. What do you think?
Well, seeing as how the Crypto Babe and I were also doing a similar search, and our search parameters may or may not be similar to yours. It does vary by where in Naples, but not too much. Mm-hmm. The homes that I was seeing that I thought, yeah, well, this is a good size for us. It was around $750,000.
Well,
yep. You were looking at bigger homes than us.
Yeah. So I just want to tell you,
yes, you were, because they are there. They are there.
That $750,000 may have purchased a room in the house. These homes were $6 million, $10 million, $18 million, $25 million. No joke. That's how expensive they were. So as soon as I saw that, as an actuary, I do well. I do well, like financially. I live comfortably. All I want to do in life is comfortably pay my bills, and I'm good to go. Well, I can very comfortably pay my bills. I do well. I invest smartly. I'm in crypto. But let me tell you, when I saw the price of those homes, I am a poor man, a very, very poor man, like absolutely ridiculous. So they had like. The area we were in, you would get a parking tag, and you could actually only people that had a parking tag on their car were allowed to park at, like, they were sort of like private beaches, else you couldn't park there. So it was really like a secluded area that we sort of stumbled into. Very beautiful area. So I will say, if I or we are ever living in Naples, it's not going to be that area. I will tell you that. I did not invest in Bitcoin in 2012. That did not happen. So, unfortunately.
No, Naples is one of the areas that we're looking at. It's just absolutely beautiful there. And what you said is one of the main reasons to live there is the sunshine. People say it's absolutely amazing.
So I know we wanted to get into actual cryptocurrency talk. So one of the things we do, for all those who have forgotten, because it's been
by the way, cheers.
Oh yes, cheers. Hold on. Are you drinking a Manhattan today? Is that what's going on?
No, I am having a Tito's Simply Light Lemonade and Diet 7-Up.
There you go. I got an old fashioned going on. So. Which is typically what I have. So what we want to do, which we've always done on the podcast, is before we actually start talking about things that are a little bit more fundamental in nature, just give a quick TA update. Just a quick TA update on something related to cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency specific. So in this case, I have typically... CryptoBringer provides me with a little guidance here on what he thinks, he's interested in taking a look at, or what the listeners would want to hear. He gave me the freedom this week. He just left it blank. So I've decided to speak to the dollar index, and the reason this is actually, if you're familiar with my channel, this is a chart that I spoke to on my most recent TA video at CryptoBullGod on YouTube. The dollar index is an extremely critical chart to cryptocurrency. So very simply stated, okay, and let me know if this makes sense, by the way, please. As the dollar depreciates in value, so if it's decreasing in value, if there's a sharp decline in the value of the dollar, or the strength, another way to say it is the strength of the dollar, what that has historically resulted in is a massive appreciation in value of cryptocurrencies, and vice versa. So when the dollar has regained strength and it gets a lot stronger and starts increasing in value on the chart, if you were to chart the DXY, that has resulted in a mass depreciation in value of cryptocurrencies. And so what I've charted on, and this is what, and by the way, did that make sense? Did that first point make sense?
Yeah, so they're directly joined. One goes up, one goes down.
They're inversely related.
Sure.
Yes, they're related, but inversely, meaning as one goes up, the other goes down. As one goes down, the other goes up.
They're on a seesaw.
They're on a seesaw. Yes, that is a non-mathematical way to look at it.
Seesaw.
Yes. Seesaw. So, yeah, that's actually a good way to look at it, to be honest. So I've tweeted out a few charts. It's important to follow me on Twitter if you're not, because I put all this stuff on Twitter. I just spoke about it on my video. But basically what I speak to and what I've shown is there are several points of confluence, meaning several points on the chart and reasons to believe that the dollar has either topped and is not going to go higher, or is very close to topping, like super close to topping, and could begin a massive depreciation in value. And again, if you followed what I said, if I'm telling you that the chart and data is telling us it's most likely that the dollar is going to decrease in value, well, then that means that there's a higher likelihood as well that crypto assets will appreciate massively in value as well. So for me, the DXY, okay, on TradingView, DXY, it's the most important chart, the most important non-crypto chart, and one of the most important crypto charts I am looking at right now that I'm looking at every single day.
All right, well, that does make sense. I didn't really realize that, to be perfectly honest. So that'll tie into our discussion later in our agenda.
Yeah, so what is our agenda? What would you like to talk about today?
Well, I would like to talk about how the current crypto market is a steaming pile of horse shit, and how I'm so sick of looking at my friggin' portfolio.
You know what?
Look at that. No. I'm tired of flipping coming into work on Monday, and my closest friend at work.
Yeah.
Hey, you see shitcoin over the weekend? Took another shit. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. We returned to the office this week. This is the first time we were back in the office, and sitting there, and he's sitting at the cube across from me. He just turns over and goes, "You see shitcoin?" Yeah. I don't want to talk about shitcoin. He's like, yeah, whatever.
You know what? This is actually really good to hear, because the way it sounds to me is you guys are very logical, educated, non-emotional investors. This is really good to hear.
I will have to share with you his stories of what's happened to him with crypto, because he wasn't wearing his readers.
Oh God.
And okay. He was blinded by the sun. It's a very entertaining yet sad tale.
Okay. Well, you know what? Honestly, what you're speaking to. So I know the question, the root of the question that you want to get at, and I know the market's been very. My read on the market, honestly, right now, it's salty, but it's beyond salty. At this point, I feel like it's gotten to the point where people have just lost interest. And are just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, whatever. Shit just keeps going. Yeah. UTA guys. Like, honestly, fuck UTA guys. Like, all you guys say is shit keeps going sideways and consolidating and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how I honestly feel the market is right now.
I'm one of those guys. Yeah, fuck UTA guys. I'm just sick of hearing, we're consolidating. Yeah, great. We're consolidating. Eat some Fiber One and unconsolidate, because I'm getting tired. I haven't had waking up in the morning, and my wife looks over and she just sees me refresh. Jesus. Babe, it's not going to change. Yeah, I know. This is the last time I'm going to look at it this weekend, but I'm getting pretty pissed. And I throw it down. It's Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
Well, at least I know there's a reasoning why I may not see you in July if I book that place that I told you about. Maybe.
I'll be drunk in a gutter somewhere.
Well, the crypto babe will refuse to see me. That son of a bitch.
Nah. She loves you, so she'll want to see you. But
no.
she'll just look at you and give you silent judgment as she sips wine.
But do you know? Oh, I'm good with that. Silent judgment is great. Do you know that the interesting thing for me is when I hear people such as yourself kind of express the frustrations is.
Well, do you want us to be happy now?
Well, I have, but the thing is, and I was telling.
I know we should be.
I was actually telling Crypto Mom this. Is that I think one of the values that I can help to add to the space is I do feel like I have a unique perspective in the sense of my career. So if you think about it, I've been a practicing actuary for quite a while now. I mean, I've been in the field for 20 years. And part of my responsibility is to kind of take the numbers and create a picture and make sense of it and explain it to non-technical audiences. I've been in a lot of situations where I kind of have to take all this technical garbage, and like explain it to people, and oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. And I can understand, especially people who are not numbers people, where it's like the actuarial science stuff is so boring and it doesn't make sense, and it's like, yeah, whatever you number guys say. But at the end of the day, the numbers, everything from the data is why, as an actuary, we can price products appropriately or put money aside today, known as reserves, to pay out future claims in a way that is accurate. So we have enough money today to pay out all the future claims. It's not too much. It's not too little. Like we know what we're doing. Okay. Well, the same thing, a similar thing can be said true about the charts. I and no technical analyst can sit here and guarantee you anything. That's foolhardy. No one, you got to run the other way if someone says they know something with 100% certainty. But all we're going to keep doing is assessing all of the data science models and charts and tell you the most probabilistic view of how things look. And one of the things I keep stressing, and this is getting at the point of your question of what we wanted to talk about, are we still in a bull market, and defend that? Are we in a bull market or bear market? Like, what the hell's going on? Well, just because things have consolidated, yes, they're consolidating, they've consolidated longer than myself and others who I respect have expected, or prices have gone a little lower than others have expected. I would encourage you to check out my most recent TA video where I clearly go through the factual information, which is we're massively oversold. RSIs are at historic lows. We're still creating higher highs and higher lows on price charts like Bitcoin, which are fundamental building blocks of a bullish narrative where you have higher highs and higher lows and price action. So all these things are still holding true. And yet people are getting so emotionally caught up with the day-to-day, especially because people like myself will give an opinion. They'll give an educated opinion on when they think the market's going to top. And because it doesn't top at that exact time, well, now the sky's falling, right? And these TA guys probably don't know what they're talking about. But keep in mind, I've always said the hardest thing to do to comment on is timing of things. So to answer the question, if we're in a bull or bear market, the fact that we are consolidating longer than expected has not changed my narrative whatsoever, because we still have all of the things within the data science models and price data that I want to see that suggest to us the most probabilistic direction of the market is still very much up, and very much up, and we still have one massive leg to go. So the way I view the market is that we are in a bearish downtrend. We have bearish price action going on, but we're still in a bull market. And I want to clarify what I mean by that. So the price action right now is bearish. It's like if you zoomed out, okay, and you saw a picture of something, if you looked at a big circle, in the center of the circle, if you zoomed in, things kind of look bearish, right? But if you zoom out and you look at the total circle or the total picture is very very bullish. It's just that if you kind of zoom in and look at things on a more granular level, it's bearish. It's very bearish price action. But if you kind of zoom out, like I said, and realize and have an educated, informed view that we have one more, and I keep saying this, one more impulse to the upside, one final leg that's going to blow people away and things are going to go really, really high, and we're waiting for that, then yes, we're still in a bull market and bull cycle. And I feel very convicted that that's going to play out this year. Strong silence.
Well,
I was rambling there for a while.
I fell asleep. No, I had to I had to unmute myself, so that's probably the best
fairness.
thing.
I ramble. I'm passionate, so I go on and on and on.
You are. But so basically, what we're noticing, and at least that's what I'm thinking, is it seems like the risk adverse continue to filter out. I see the saltiness, and I see people claiming it's a bear market. So they want to sell, and then they sell their stuff. But what I'm then seeing is the whales going in and accumulating over time. Things like MicroStrategy, I believe is the name of the company that just continues to buy up tons of Bitcoin. So while the squeamish are getting out, the whales continue to grow their purses, and they're loving life. So there obviously is a trend, and I just saw an article now about the Q1 for Visa Coinbase card usage hits 2.5 billion. Clearly, there's interest in crypto, and clearly there's a big interest in crypto. I'm continuing to hear more and more about investment firms ramping up their training to their employees on crypto. I just heard from a good friend of mine, his wife received some intro training to it just the other day. So clearly this is not going away anytime soon.
No, and you're correct. And what you're doing is you're kind of peeling back the layers of the onion to see, kind of to understand what's going on. You're not looking at things on the surface, right? So something we've spoken to quite a bit on this channel is, if you want to be surface deep, go for it, but you'll be part of the 99% of the herd. So as an example, back in the summer of this year, JP Morgan, I was talking to the Crypto Mom about this. JP Morgan came out with an article that Bitcoin was going to go to 149,000, I believe. And that was at the point where Bitcoin was had already topped, by the way, at 60,000. Now, and this is probably just coincidental, but now as Bitcoin has, in my opinion, bottomed, but it's in the $30,000 range. JP Morgan comes out with an article that says Bitcoin's fair value is in the $30,000 range. So I just want you to think for a second. Surface level knowledge, being part of the 99% that are not successful in this market, and will remain in the point in life they're at and not invest and make massive gains in a market and be part of the 1%, will read that and believe it, right? So as Bitcoin's topping, and has already topped, JP Morgan is saying Bitcoin's going to do a 2.5x from there. It's going to go up to 150,000 basically. Now that the market is depressed and people are salty and pissed off, JP Morgan is saying, oh yeah, the fair value is around 30,000. I mean, just think about that for a second. If you really think JP Morgan has your best interest in mind. So what you're doing is, I commend you for what you're doing and what you're speaking to, because you're challenging the narrative and you're seeing kind of what's going on behind the scenes that lends itself to kind of keeping your mindset. I'm trying to find the right words, but basically trying to level set your mindset to not lose track of what's going on here, big picture, and getting caught up in the day-to-day. Like you said, the whales, really are accumulating. If you look at some of the on-chain metrics, what you'll see is you'll see that bigger addresses with Bitcoin, that hold Bitcoin, they are massively accumulating. Those wallets are growing in size, and here's the other thing. Those wallets are going from on exchange, so having their Bitcoin from an exchange, like Coinbase or Binance or whatever. They're taking those funds and removing them from an online exchange to cold storage, right? So if they're gobbling up Bitcoin and putting it in cold storage, they're just accumulating the fuck out of Bitcoin, while other people with very small addresses who have just gotten into the market are panic selling. It's this human psychology just continues to play out no matter how much you try to warn people of it. Oftentimes it's people that are just over leveraged in the market and don't know what they're doing and are uneducated, and the market doesn't play out exactly the way they think, and they just make really stupid decisions that they're going to regret years from now.
Well, I think then that should really dovetail now into, as we know, Bitcoin's the key to the market, and that's really what we touch on when we talk about the altcoin market pumping as well. Mm-hmm. I saw one of your followers comment on this in one of your posts from several weeks back, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. Has this current cycle now officially invalidated the 4-year cycle that we are accustomed to?
Short answer is, I believe, yeah, it has.
Because the market's maturing, right? We're seeing, and is that resulting in a lengthening of the cycles? And then if so, we're entering all sorts of new territory, right? What do we need to see to validate this hypothesis and come up with something new in terms of potential forecasting?
Yeah, okay. These are very good questions. I just want to clarify something. I never, ever, ever believed for 1 second, one moment in time, that for the rest of time, okay, I mean, this is really ignorant, really stupid if you would believe this. I never believed for one moment that for the rest of time, Bitcoin was just going to follow 4-year cycles and it would be that easy. Think about that, how stupid that sounds.
No, it's absolutely stupid, and yeah. I agree. And you know how I knew it wouldn't follow that? The time I invest in that cycle. Because I swear to God, yeah, 4 years, 4 years. Everything's got to be 4 years. It's 4 years. That's what people keep saying. I keep reading. I'm like, all right, we're coming up on this. You know what? We're gonna slap some money down on this, and that 4 years gonna get blown to hell right off the bat. Bam. Well, see you later. 4 years.
What CryptoBringer's telling you is he bought Bitcoin at 69,000. Purchased Chainlink at $50 and bought HBAR at 58 cents. That's what he's trying.
Sure. I'm just throwing money out there because I'm just low. No, I'm not. My God.
No, but the other thing I wanted to say in conjunction with that was, for me, for this cycle, I always said this, and for people who really listened to what I was saying, the way I saw this cycle playing out, there were too many similarities from what I was looking at this cycle as compared to last cycle that I really did feel like, even if it went as late as March, like it even went into March, I really felt like the cycle for Bitcoin and the rest of cryptocurrency market was going to top relatively within a similar time frame as before. So relatively within 4 years. But my view has always been, and this is kind of what you're getting at, as the market matures, okay, meaning that as more money enters the market, okay, there's more validity behind the market, there's less scammy projects out there, and there's more fundamental use case projects that kind of take reins, and the market matures and grows in size, right? Instead of being a $2 trillion market cap, which is peanuts, it grows into a $200 trillion. Okay, think about that. A $200 trillion market cap, we're not going to get these cycles. The cycles are going to fade off. So to answer your question, I really thought this year was going to be similar to a 4-year cycle. It's very evident it's not going to. I mean, we're going to top at some point this year, but it's going to, it's either going to be in the latter half of the first half of this year, or we're going to bleed into the second half of this year. So it invalidates the 4-year cycle. I don't know how you could argue otherwise. And secondly, yes, CryptoBringer, as what will continue to invalidate the 4-year cycle and the lengthening of cycles and the way the cycles will look different is it's very simple. The market's going to grow. There's going to be more value within the market. The market is less illiquid. It's harder to move the market. It takes more dollars, more currency to move the market, and as such, it won't have as many fluctuations. Bitcoin eventually will be less volatile. Many crypto assets will be less volatile. The markets will lengthen in terms of cycles. So yeah, I very much think that that's sort of how things will continue to play out.
And I think we're starting to see that with the continued presence of crypto almost anywhere you go. You can hear about it, or you see a sign of it. You see the random mentions about it on social media platforms, and there's the Bitcoin symbol. You never used to see that type of stuff before. We discussed before the Bitcoin ATMs. You can go to a local grocery store and see those in there. You can see them at Walmarts. That sort of thing. And I think that's all lending into lengthening these time frames and these cycles. And I think that's where, self-education.
Adoption
yeah.
is what you're speaking to.
Mainstream adoption.
Yep.
And this is where self-education becomes even more important. And you got to ask questions of yourself about your risk tolerance, which is what we continue to preach over and over and over again ad nauseum. Understand your risk tolerance, not what someone else is saying about how they feel about their own investments. You have to understand how you feel about your investments. And again, we're not giving investment advice, but you have to understand how you feel about things. No. You know, you got to have multiple data points. Multiple data points.
Multiple data points.
I like those data points.
To formulate a solid conclusion and hypothesis.
All of my data points is the shithead on the other end of this podcast, and he better be right, or my wife is gonna rip out his throat. I mean, I'm sorry. No, I have multiple data points, people.
If I'm wrong, you'll never see me again. Don't know when the next time I'll come home is. No, but self-education is really important on anything. Like, come on, like it's. Dear God, unless if you're hoping to go to Vegas and win $1 million, and we all know we have bad luck with, that I can't say the name of the luck, but you know the family history with luck on this side. But the point is if if you have a gambler's mentality, anytime you're taking money that you've worked hard for, like think about it. Like, I don't know for you listening what your story is. By the way, drop that comment because I just wanted to let you know, didn't start it off this way, should have. Drop a like, leave a comment, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. Really does help the YouTube algorithm to help the content going. But what I was going to say is, I don't know what your personal situation is or what your story is, but more than likely for those listening, if you're listening to this, you work very hard at whatever it is you do in life, you know, and there's a very high likelihood too you help support a family. Maybe you have children, you have a wife, a husband, whatever the case is, and you work hard for that money that's coming in the door. Okay, it literally puts food on the plates. So if you're gonna take that money and you're gonna dump it into something, you sure as hell better know what you're doing and take responsibility for it. Don't come to me, and dear God, don't go to CryptoBringer.
Sure as shit don't want to do that. Because I am just, basically by the time I'm done talking to you, you'll want to jump off a bridge. So.
Don't come to us and say, hey, I got $1,000. Where should I put it? Don't do that. Please don't do that. I just think that as much as I mean,
I'll give you my PayPal address or my Venmo. You can send it to me.
By the way, if you really appreciate the CryptoBroz channel, I'll drop an address below. Feel free to dump some Bitcoin in there.
Of course, we'll pay taxes on it. Because of course it works.
Yeah, or just not report it. Did I just say that?
Oh, for the love of God!
If the IRS can't know that I'm joking, then go fuck yourself. But no, the point is that as much as I really would appreciate if someone came to me and asked me for my opinion, I really do. I appreciate it and all that. But you know, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to find people in the space, such as ourselves, whose content and wisdom and education who you respect, right? But to CryptoBringer's point, it really is a data point, and a data point no more or no less. I mean, it's really like it's your education is number one, and then it's all these other people who you respect or work that you respect that are other data points to kind of validate your train of thought. And self-education, I'm telling you, the more we go on here, it's just going to be very, very important, so that you can maximize the amount of investment gains that you're seeing in your portfolio.
Well, then so let's try and give some positivity to this, because I feel like you have been raining them with some positivity, but I think we need to provide them signs.
Yes.
Are there signs that the market is picking up?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a simple yes/no, and then so you're saying yes. So what are the reasonings for this? Because I gotta tell you, my crypto and my Coinbase or Binance, whatever, like none of that stuff's showing it right now.
So this is a really good question, and I'm always going to be honest. If it wasn't clear to me, I would say so. But it's clear to me that if we have not bottomed at this point, we're about as close to it as we're going to get, and we do have a lot of reason to believe that we are going to see a lot more upside. So let me provide the rationale there. So the first thing I would say is one thing I'm specifically not going to speak to intentionally is because I'm going to be putting out a TA video hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Let's just say the next 2 weeks. I'm going to put out a TA video that I spoke to on my prior TA video, which is, what are the handful of charts / data science models that I'm looking at that I keep speaking to that give me conviction that the market has not topped and we have a final euphoric leg. So I will put out a video on that. But let me speak, that's related but not specific to what CryptoBringer is asking. CryptoBringer is asking, all right, so are you seeing any signs that the market's actually going to pick up and turn in a bullish direction and we'll see an uptrend? So there's a couple items that I would provide to you that would lend some credence and some optimism that we will see a turnaround. The first thing is a specific chart that you can pull up on Glassnode. It's called the SSR. It's the stablecoin supply ratio. The person that turned me on to this metric, who I want to give credit to, I'm subscribed to his channel, so if you're not, you should check it out. He was the first person who brought it up, and I began evaluating this chart at that time. Kevin Svensson, who is on Twitter, I do follow him. I think we're pretty sure we mutually follow one another, and he's also located on YouTube. So check him out. You can list him. You can search me under Twitter and look at who I follow. Kevin Svensson, check him out. But he was the first person who mentioned it. I know that Tech Dev also mentions this chart now. Another guy who I highly respect mentions this chart. But basically, here's to dummy.
He posts a lot of good stuff.
He puts a lot of good stuff on that. Yeah, I really respect his work a lot. So here's the punchline behind this, and this is really what you want to take away from looking at this chart. Historically, what it says is, if you pull up an SSR chart, the punchline here is that it's showing you that the SSR, or stablecoin supply ratio, is at record lows, meaning that it's all getting purchased up and ready to deploy into purchasing Bitcoin. So typically when the SSR level, or stablecoin supply ratio, it is a very low level, it is historically shown that it has been an indicator, okay, no guarantee, but an indicator to show that the crypto market has bottomed or has very close to bottomed, and there's going to be a massive upswing in the crypto market. So the SSR ratio is the very first thing that I would speak to. The other thing that I'm looking at that gives me reason to pause for optimism within the market. I actually just tweeted a chart out today. It's something I've tweeted about before. It's something I've tweeted about before. It's called the Mayer multiple. Now, the Mayer multiple is actually even more simplistic than the SSR. Okay, the Mayer multiple is literally just a multiple of the Bitcoin price over the 200-day simple moving average. That's all it is. So the Mayer multiple is literally just a multiple of Bitcoin price over the 200-day simple moving average. Go to Twitter, take a look at the chart that I just tweeted Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Take a look at the chart I tweeted. Right now, not only is the Mayer multiple at a historic low, okay, it's very low in value, meaning the price of Bitcoin is very low relative to the 200-day simple moving average. It's also right now literally resting on a trend line of support. So anytime the Mayer multiple has been very low, again, it has signaled to the market that we have bottomed or we're very close to bottoming, and you can expect a massive bounce and trend reversal within the market. So the Mayer multiple is another item I'm looking at that gives me optimism that we're going to see some very big relief very soon. Did that one make sense?
It did, but now you're raising questions that, we're gonna go off script. We're gonna ad lib here, like
okay.
The Rock and Steve Austin back in the day when professional wrestling was good.
Yeah,
so
true.
with what you're pointing here, it would be interesting, I think, to see comparisons from now to the previous bull cycles. What is this chart that you're talking about here? How does this look like back in 2017 and 2013, 2012 area. How does it look then in compared to those? And maybe even see it moving forward, you know, like almost on like a weekly check-in, something along those lines. And then it would be interesting, I think, watching this on almost like a weekly or a bi-weekly chart progress just to see how things are. Does that make sense?
I'm actually pulling up the chart to kind of try to do my best at explaining what I'm looking at. The chart that I tweeted out, yes, I think this would be something, well, this chart is something that I have pulled up and it's something I look at every day. So for me, I'm looking at this every day. I just kind of look at it. But I have a weekly view. This is a weekly view that I tweeted about. And basically what it's showing is there is an ascending line of support with the Mayer multiple. And one thing I would say, maybe that, you know, even if you don't have the chart in front of you, hopefully you can visualize this. On the ascending line, what's happening is every single time, literally, every single time the market bottomed, and I'm specifically speaking to December 2018, March 2020, July 2021, and now January of 2022, and we don't know if this is going to be a trend reversal yet, but the prior 3 points, every single time the Mayer multiple has bounced on this ascending line of support, the price action has completely reversed trend. In December of 2018, I'm very familiar there because I was buying Bitcoin between 35 and 3,200. Thank you very much. Bitcoin went from 3,200 all the way up to, I mean, it was like over 13,000. In March of 2020, when we bounced on when the Mayer multiple bounced on the ascending line of support, we bottomed with that massive price wick. We went all the way down to 3,850, and we went all the way up to, we went all the way up over $60,000. Okay, jeez. And then what a buying opportunity. And then in July of 2021, we're all familiar with that more than likely. We bottomed at 28,000. I think it was like 800 or 600. And then we topped out at 69,000. Okay. Right now we're resting on that line of support. Okay. And right now Bitcoin has temporarily bottomed. We'll see if that bottom holds. I think it will. But we've temporarily bottomed at 33,000. So what I'm trying to say is, if we historically go back in time to CryptoBringer's point, all the way back to the bear market of 2018, which was our prior cycle, every single time that the Mayer multiple has bounced off the ascending line of support, price action bottomed. Okay, price action bottomed. We were at a complete bottom, and then we reversed trend and we went much higher in price. So can you sort of picture that in your head? If you don't have a chart in front of you, does it make sense?
I can. It would definitely be interesting if you could share those out into the Twitterverse and we could all see those after this video, so we could just take a look at them and just visualize it for ourselves.
Yeah, I can retweet it out. I mean, I tweeted it out. Yeah, I tweeted it out, it looks like 3 hours ago. So what I can do is I can reference the podcast and then just say this is the chart that I spoke to, sort of thing. I can do that for sure.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And so we have the the stablecoin supply ratio SSR chart. We have the Mayer multiple. I think the only other thing that I'm looking at that leaves me feeling convicted that we're going to start to see, well, there's a couple things, but something else just real quick I would mention that that I'm seeing is just how oversold we are. I've tweeted out a lot of charts. RSI, relative strength index metrics are suppressed levels. Other things that leave me feeling convicted is right now higher highs and higher lows in every chart I'm looking at have held true. So we're still, kind of like when you zoom out on the charts, everything is still building a higher high in price and a higher low in price, which is, what I always say on my channel are the basic building blocks of a bullish narrative. All that stuff is still holding true. And then the last thing I would say is something we already spoke to. So there's a supply shock going on. Anytime there's a supply shock, that typically results in price appreciation. Supply shock means there's a record number of Bitcoin that's leaving exchanges, online exchanges, and going into cold wallets, and they're being stored up. Those larger wallet addresses, which are the whales, are growing and growing and growing in value. So there's a lot of people, a lot of smarter money out there with big Bitcoin addresses that are just gobbling up Bitcoin right now. So all these things are leaving me feeling very convicted that we should start to see a bounce and relief rally very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I personally believe that as well. Based on the things I'm seeing, I'm just getting very pissed off by seeing my shit drop continually.
I tweeted, you know what? I tweeted this out right before the podcast. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead, tweet that out and ask me a question.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's go back in time and pretend you and I were in the market both kind of doing this thing, and it was 2018, right? And I was telling you that, in my opinion, anything in the $3,000 range was an awesome buying opportunity for Bitcoin. And let's say that I felt really convicted that Bitcoin had bottomed at $3,900. And most of my purchases were at $3,900. I still had some on the sideline, so maybe I was able to capture some around $3,500 or $3,300. But most of my purchasing went in at $3,900. Now, Bitcoin ultimately, I think, bottomed in December at 3,000. We're going to call it 300. I think it was like 3,243. Not that I'm keeping track, but I think it was 3,300. So today, here's my question, CryptoBringer. In 2018, if you purchased a massive amount of Bitcoin at 3,900, but not 3,300, do you really think it fucking matters today whether you purchased it at 3,900 or 3,300? Does it matter?
I want that extra money.
Jesus. You're supposed to.
It doesn't matter.
Of course it doesn't matter. And that's the point I'm trying to make today. I felt really confident that we were going to bottom around $39,000. Well, we went down 15% more. We went down to $33,000. But I can't guarantee you anything. I shouldn't say that. But I feel very confident in saying years out from now, you're not gonna give a flying fuck if you purchase Bitcoin at $39,000 or $33,000. We're not here to pick perfect bottoms and tops. This is an incredible buying opportunity long term. It does not matter. Don't lose the perspective.
100% agree. I have heard people in my own company, people that were stalwarts in the opposite direction of crypto, they've done a complete 180. And hearing their forecast based on the research that they've read for the next 10 years is very interesting. I just keep my mouth shut. I try not to talk about it too much at work, but I hear what they say, and it's very interesting to see how they've changed their tune in a year.
Yeah, that
very,
is
very interesting.
I've seen some of the same stuff, so yeah, it is quite interesting.
So I think that we've covered this ad nauseum, so it's time to get to another topic at hand. And this is a very important topic. Is Jalen Hurts the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback of the future? And go.
God. So, admittedly, I do want to say this, and this probably speaks to where my heart was at this season. I admittedly did not watch every single minute of that game, the playoff game. Yeah. Typically, I will sit down, for a playoff game especially, I will sit down and watch everything. Just don't even talk to me. Just don't talk to me. I want to sit there and watch the game. I don't want to go out to a bar. I just want to sit there and watch the game. And I watched the game here and there, but I was not really into it. So some of the criticism that came through about Jalen Hurts, I honestly did not see. So I can't speak specifically. I don't think it's appropriate for me to speak specifically to his performance in the playoff game because I didn't see it. What I would say is this. I saw enough of him. I feel like I saw enough of him in the season to be able to comment on if I think he's the quarterback of the future for the Philadelphia Eagles. My belief is that they should give him next season. I think they should give him next season to see how he performs. I think they should go with it. I think with all these first-round picks, they should help to build up the team around him. I saw enough growth from him that told me it didn't feel, I will say this, it did not feel me leaving as confident as I did with my personal favorite football player of all time, Donovan McNabb, in his first season. I felt very confident that we had a bright future with him. I don't feel as confident as that, but I feel confident enough to say I saw enough growth, and I think there's enough there, and I love his work ethic. The guy, I love his attitude, and I love his work ethic. I think there's enough there that I want to see him back for a second season. Now, what I would say is, before I turn it over to you, I'm not ready to say he's the quarterback of the future, but I want to give him another season. If he comes back next season, and he has a subpar performance, we got to move on. But I'm really willing to give him one more season.
So, we attempted to watch that playoff game, and I think you saw my text messages in the group chat with our other friend, the Crypto Jack. We shut off the game with just about 3 minutes left in the second quarter and began to watch the Eternals movie because we hadn't seen it yet. And I never went back to the game. I just couldn't. His play, and I was worried about this, he was still affected by the ankle injury. It was just reported today he's going to have surgery on that ankle. From what I've seen from him and heard from him, yes, he says all the right things. He has all the leadership qualities. Mm-hmm. I do not, and this was always the question coming out of college too, is his arm strength and accuracy. You have Devontae Smith blazing down the sidelines. Why aren't you taking shots?
Yeah.
Why are you missing, and this could be because he's so young, he's missing guys that are breaking the secondary.
He's had some bad throws, long distance.
Real bad throws. Yeah. Real bad throws to the point where I just get nauseous seeing him play. And you know what? Gardner Minshew should be fired up playing, because if you give them an even competition, aside from the rushing yards that Jalen Hurts can get, which whoop-de-doo, it's great in fantasy, but it means jack squat in real life. Yeah. For most occasions, unless you're Michael Vick, I have grave concerns, but you know what? The 2022 draft class isn't where it's at, and I don't think they're going to get it in free agency, and I think that we will see Howie, wheeling and dealing Howie. He's going to look to move one of our 3 first-round picks into 2023, which is going to have quarterbacks in it and going to have that offensive talent, and I think he addresses defense in the first round. He's going to go, I hope, defensive end and cornerback.
No, wait, you haven't answered the question, though.
Is he our future quarterback? No. Do I think that we have to stick with him for next season? And is it fair to at least give him one more shot? Yes. But I think Howie has to do something to address the wide receiver situation, because once again, we're saying the same damn thing we've said for the past, 20, 25 years. Get real wide receivers. You got Devontae Smith, but you know what? There's a reason that the scouts in Minnesota, and Minnesota was so happy we passed on Justin Jefferson and we took Jalen Reagor. And what's he done? What's J-Jaw done? Absolutely nothing. But we've wasted a ton of draft capital on those guys. And now free agency, this year in NFL free agency, there's a plethora of wide receiver talent. Go out and get one, Howie. Do not use a high draft pick on them. We need to address the defense. But no, I want to give him another season, but I just do not feel that he's our long-term answer from what I've seen so far from him.
I feel like the response you're giving me is like where all of Philly's at right now.
And I've tuned off. I tuned out. I said tuned off. I've tuned out sports talk radio. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it because I know where they're going to be. I know what they're going to say. I know what they're going to want. We're going to have turnover on that offensive line. We had Brandon Brooks retire, which is, I get it. He only played 2 games. We don't know about Jason Kelce yet. I will say, if they don't go defensive end and cornerback in the draft, I hope they draft the center coming out this year, who's a legit stud, and he could learn under Jason Kelsey next year.
Well, I think just specifically as it relates to Hurts, I think you and I are in agreement that we want to give him. It's almost like we want to give him another year because we really don't have a better option. And
I do not want Russell Wilson. I do not
either.
want Jimmy Garoppolo.
I
do not want them making another big trade to try and like. What I want them to do is to shore up the damn wide receiver room and get us a damn veteran. Because I do believe in Devontae Smith. I do believe in Quez Watkins. I do not believe in Jalen Reagor. And I do not believe in J-Jaw. We need another wide receiver.
J-Jaw is going to be there.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is not... I was
Well,
hoping...
He'll be a special teams player.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's fantastic. But right now, I mean, so now he's getting ankle surgery, and Hurts is getting ankle surgery. They say he'll be back for all-season team activities, the OTAs. All right. How is he going to be 100% by that point, or is he going to be 100% by mini camps or training camp?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm not happy with what I've seen from them. They've been very lackluster. Going into, I think we saw this year very terrible play from the additional wild card or the additional wild card team in the playoffs.
Oh, I agree.
We saw that. We saw ass whoopings.
Yeah,
ass whoopings.
Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing with the Crypto Babe. Once Pittsburgh's game was on, and that game went off around the beginning of the somewhere in the second quarter, and then we watched Black Widow. So we're all caught up on the Marvel movies now. Oh, was she pissed? She knew it was coming now, but
yeah, it was nice to see them get to the playoffs, but it was not fun actually watching them in the playoffs get their ass.
If you want to see how far behind the Philadelphia Eagles are in terms of quarterback play, you watch teams like the Buffalo Bills. You watch teams like, and I know that he has his detractors, but you watch the Rams and you see what Matt Stafford's doing. You take a look at the Bengals and you see what Joe Burrow's doing. You know, these type of, and even the players that are the teams that aren't in the playoffs, the Chargers with Justin Herbert. My God, haven't even talked about Patrick Mahomes. He has his detractors from the second half of that game, but he's still a stud, and he's not what we have in Philadelphia or anywhere close.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll see. I mean, I still think there's the potential that Hurts could turn around and have a better than expected year next year. I do want to give him one more year, but I have serious doubts about him being a future quarterback for sure. Yeah,
I mean, teams have been making overtures about Gardner Minshew. Do the Eagles trade him, or do they hold on to him because they don't know what the hell Hurts is going to give them next year?
If he has good trade value, you trade him. If he has good trade value.
I agree because I think you can pick up a quarterback in the it's somewhere. You can pick him up somewhere. If not this offseason, like what they did last year when they picked up, as Crypto Babe calls him, Neckbeard. What's his name? Former quarterback for the Ravens. Flacco.
Yeah,
and
Flacco.
They traded him to the Jets. Yeah. Again, poor Flacco going back to the Jets. All right, I'm getting off my pulpit. Sorry, people, if you're still listening.
No, this was a good discussion, and I think it came at a good point during the market right now, because I know there's a lot of unenthusiastic people out there, but I would just ask people to remain patient, remain calm, really know what you're invested in, and do the due diligence, do the self-education on your part, and really just listen to those around you who you respect, and get a pulse for what they're thinking as well. But everything on this end, what I can share with you is, I stand by what I said. Things are just taking a little longer than expected, but I still remain extremely confident that we still have one more euphoric leg. So just hang in there, and take a deep breath, zoom out on the charts, check out the more recent TA video that I'm going to put out there on the data science models and charts I'm evaluating that leave me feeling confident, and just, recognize that everything's not going to go exactly according to plan in terms of timing. Just take a deep breath, everybody. So the sky is not falling. Everything is okay. But it felt great to get this podcast together. So thanks everyone for tuning in. That's going to do it. It's going to do it for another episode of the CryptoBroz podcast. We're here to educate you on all things crypto. We're here to keep things light and to motivate you to capture this generational wealth transfer opportunity, locking in those gains in this exciting world of cryptocurrency. So until next time, I am the CryptoBullGod.
And I am the CryptoBringer.
Ooh, yeah!